ahead, let it go.
Hello guys, and welcome with Professor Chavez. Today we're going to talk about isolating a variable. The first thing we want to know is, what does isolating a variable mean? Isolating a variable in the mathematical equation means rearranging the equation so that the variable is on one side of the equation and all the other terms are on the other side. This allows us to solve for the variable and find its value. Before we get started, let's go over some key points. Number 1, identify the variable you want to isolate in the equation. Number 2, simplify the equation by combining like terms or performing any necessary operations. Number 3, move all terms that do not contain the variable to the other side of the equation using inverse operation, which includes adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. Once the variable is isolated on one side, solve for its value by performing any remaining operations. Now we're going to go ahead and isolate a variable. So we have x plus 4 equals 10, and we want to isolate the variable x. Since we have a plus 4, we're going to go ahead and do the inverse, which is minus 4. I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides, and we know a positive 4 minus 4 gives us 0. So we have x is equal to 10 minus 4, it gives us 6. 18 plus y equals negative 10. So I want to isolate y, so I'm going to get rid of my positive 18 with a minus 18. I'm going to subtract 18 from both sides. 18 minus 18 gives you 0. So we have y is equal to negative 10 minus 18. We're going to go ahead and combine them, and we're going to have negative 28. Z plus 25 equals negative 30. I want to isolate z, so I want to get rid of the positive 25. To do so, I'm going to do the inverse, which is minus 25. Subtract 25 from both sides. Positive 25 minus 25 gives you 0. So we have z is equal to negative 30 minus 25 gives us negative 55. And finally, 22 plus x equals negative 15. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of the 22. We're going to subtract 22 from both sides. Cancels out. We have x is equal to negative 37. Let's go ahead and try a few more. Now let's go ahead and get started. So we have x minus 25 equals 40. To get rid of a minus 25, we're going to go ahead and add 25. And what we do to one side, we're going to go do to the other side. So negative 25 plus 25 equals 0. Now we have x is equal to 40 plus 25 gives you 65. Negative 32 plus g equals 41. The inverse of a negative 32 is going to be a plus 32. So we're going to go ahead and add 32 to both sides. Negative 32 plus 32 cancels out. So we have g is equal to 73. F minus 13 equals negative 12. We want to isolate f. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of the negative 13. The inverse would be plus 13. Add 13 to both sides. Negative 13 plus 13 cancels out. So we have f is equal to negative 12 plus 13. What we're going to go ahead and do is subtract. So we have 13 minus 12 and that gives us 1. So we know it's going to be a 1. And then we see which one has a greater absolute value, if it's the 12 or the 13. And since it's the 13, our answer is a positive. Let's go ahead and try one more. So we have negative 33 plus x equals negative 21. We're going to go ahead and add 33 to both sides. Negative 33 plus 33 cancels out. So I'm left over with x equals, we have a negative 21 plus 33. And we're going to go ahead and do the same thing that we did before. We're going to do 33 minus 21. And that gives us 12. So we know the answer is 12. And then we ask ourselves, which one has the greatest absolute value? And the answer would be 33. So our answer is going to be positive. Let's go ahead and continue. Now we're going to learn about multiplication. So we have 3 times a equals 12, and the inverse of multiplication is division. So we're going to go ahead and divide both sides by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. So we have a is equal to 12 divided by 3 is 4. Now we have 4x equals negative 24. So remember, we're multiplying, so the inverse is division. So we're going to divide both sides by the coefficient, which is 4. So we have 4 divided by 4 gives you 1. X is equal to, and then 24 divided by 4 is 6. And a negative divided by a positive is a negative. So our answer would be x equals negative 6. Negative 5 times c equals 25. Same thing, to isolate the variable, since this is multiplication, we're going to go ahead and do division. So we're always going to divide by the coefficient, which is negative 5. So negative 5 divided by negative 5 is 1. So we have c is equal to 25 divided by 5 is 5. And a positive divided by a negative is a negative. So c is equal to negative 5. One more. 8z equals 20. So remember, we're going to divide by the coefficient, which is 8. So we have z is equal to, and remember, a cannot go evenly to 20. So we're going to write it down. But one thing we notice is we can simplify this. So the way we're going to simplify this is find a common factor for both of these. So 20 could be divided by 4 as well as 8. So 20 divided by 4 equals 5, and 8 divided by 4 is 2. So z is equal to 5 over 2. Now let's go ahead and talk about division. So we have x divided by 6 equals 2. To isolate the variable, we have to get rid of division. And the inverse of that will be multiplication. So we're going to go ahead and multiply by the denominator, which is 6. And remember, what we do to one side, we got to do to the other side. So if we multiply and divide by the same number, they cancel out. So x is equal to 2 times 6 is 12. Now we're going to go ahead and do another one. X divided by negative 12 equals negative 5. So to get rid of division, we're going to multiply by the denominator, which is negative 12. And when we multiply by the same integer, it turns into 1. So x is equal to, a negative times a negative is a positive. 5 times 12 is 60. So x is equal to 60. Last one. A divided by negative 11 equals 9. To get rid of division, we're going to do multiplication. And we're going to go ahead and multiply by the denominator, which is negative 11. When we multiply and divide by the same integer, it turns into 1. So we have A is equal to a positive and a negative is a negative. 9 times 11 is 99. And then finally, let's just go back over the key points. Remember, you want to identify the variable, you want to isolate in the equation. You want to simplify the equation by combining like terms or performing any necessary operations. You want to move all the terms that do not contain the variable to the other side of the equation using inverse operations. And finally, once the variable is isolated on one side, you want to solve for its value by performing any remaining operations. Thank you for joining Professor Chavez, and see you next time.